What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we are a day removed from that epic win for the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Feel like it's a good time to kind of revisit the stock up and the stock down position. We've kind of been doing it every week for the most part, because, sometimes the player's stock keeps rising, some drops. But I think this one's a pretty decent one. Stock up, I will admit, there's a lot more of a good stock for this game. So, bear with me. There's a lot more stock up than there is stock down here. But we'll go ahead and hop into this. I mean, stock down, you can basically say for the entire defense, right, for the most part. Because, you gave up 240 rushing yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars yesterday. There was a stat yesterday that blew my mind. It said Trevor Lawrence became the first quarterback in NFL history to lose a game in which he threw for 90% completion percentage on at minimum 20 passing attempts and scored 3 touchdowns with plus touchdowns with no turnovers. It's the first time in NFL history that happened. So, I mean, we can definitely sit here and say that the total defense in general had a stock down day yesterday. I don't know what it is about Jaguars offensively. They just always seem to shred the Colts defense for some weird reason or another, which is really odd because, you wouldn't have expected that Trevor Lawrence was having that good of a day because the ball really wasn't in his hands that much. He only threw 22 passes. It's almost a third of what Matt Ryan threw yesterday. So the fact that N was sacked 4 times yesterday, I could only imagine the fact that Trevor Lawrence was doing what he was doing yesterday, dissecting the defense, but it in the end just didn't result in a win. The defense got very lucky that this game didn't go further out than what it was. And when we go into the actual individual performances here, I mean, Brandon Faison's stock is at rock bottom. Rock bottom. I don't think there's any reason why he should be playing corner for more than 10 snaps a game. There's just no reason at this point for him to be out there unless you have a specific personnel group where you have 4 or 5 corners out there, or 4 corners out there. There's just no point in it. I just don't understand it. And then that kind of results in the Gus Bradley personnel decisions being in a stock down, right? There's no reason that Brandon Faison should be starting over Isaiah Rodgers. It shouldn't be happening. There's no reason for it. Isaiah Rodgers is a better tackler. He's a better pursuit guy. He's better in coverage. He tackles better in the open field. There's just no reason why Brandon Faison continues to be the starting corner for this defense. Everyone in the world is recognizing it, folks. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care if Brandon Faison's body type and skill set matches the zone scheme better. I don't care. Isaiah Rodgers plays better. Isaiah Rodgers plays better. He can stick with guys better. He recovers better. He makes tackles better. There is no reason that Brandon Faison should be seeing the field at the beginning of games, almost at all for that matter, unless you're bringing in a personnel that requires 4 corners. There shouldn't be. Shouldn't be any reason for it. So, Gus Bradley, man, I'm sick and tired of seeing you continue to put Isaiah Rodgers on the back burner. I get that his snaps have been getting better every week, but that man needs to start. He needs to start, and he needs to be out there instead of Brandon Faison, who's missing wide open tackles in the open field. It makes no sense. And then let's just stick with the defense here for a split second. I was willing to give Kenny Moore the benefit of the doubt last week. He had a fantastic week of, being involved and having a lot of good tackles. This last game, Kenny Moore did not have a great game of tackling outside and looking like he was belonging. He's got to get better for sure. And then the only other stock down I would give in this game truly without getting too picky into it before I see the film, is Mo Alley-Cox. And to no fault of his own, really. I mean, we've seen Mo Alley-Cox week 4 against Tennessee had a career game. 6 catches for over 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the best game of Mo Alley-Cox's career. And then the next 2 weeks, I think has totaled 1 catch. 1 catch. There were times I don't even think he was really out on the field much for that game for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think I'm not sure. I can't remember whether or not he made a catch against Denver. He might have had one, maybe. But he has a grand total of 1, if that, catch over the last 2 weeks. You're paying Mo Alley-Cox $6 million a year, $9 million guaranteed. More than a lot of other tight ends out here. Obviously, that's not top tier tight end money, but that's a top 10 contract for a tight end at this moment in time. And you're not even using him in the system a lot of times. I know Mo Alley-Cox is the best blocking tight end that you have right now, but Mo Alley-Cox is getting paid $6 million a year, and he's not even getting involved in the scheme as it is right now. Obviously, the Colts made this decision on the back end that they didn't know if they were going to draft a tight end in the draft of that year. Because remember, Mo Alley-Cox was one of the first guys to get signed by the Indianapolis Colts in free agency. And that was a huge contract. It was a huge, huge contract. I mean, to some people, that may not seem like a lot, but that's a good amount of money, man. You know, he's getting paid a good amount of money right now. And it just is weird that we're paying this guy around $20 million over the span of a few years, and this guy's not even getting involved in the offense. I know Jelani Woods has been insane, but think of where that money could have been spent somewhere else, right? So I hate to say that about Mo Alley-Cox, but, you know, it sucks that the stock is going down for him simply due to the fact that he doesn't get involved in the offense because they just don't give him the ball. I can understand why you don't, but it kind of just makes the stock of that contract go way down. So let's go to the stock ups now, because we talked a little bit about the stock downs. Let's talk about the stock ups. Like I said, there's a lot to get into this. So let's go ahead and hop into it. First one you got to mention is Alec Pierce, right? Another good week for Alec Pierce. 3 catches, 49 yards, and a touchdown. The game winner, obviously. I mean, he didn't have as many catches as he had the previous few weeks, but they did try to get him involved in this game. A bunch of times he was getting held. A bunch of times he just couldn't quite get it because the ball never quite got to him. But Alec Pierce has really thrived in this system ever since that week 1 performance. Alec Pierce has been playing at a really great level. 3 catches against the Chiefs, had 5 catches against the Titans, had 8 catches against the Broncos, and then 3 catches this week, and then had the game winner, his first touchdown of the year. So Alec Pierce is really thriving in the one-on-one jump ball, contested catches situations like we all knew he could. Right? That was his bread and butter. That is what he was good at in college, was dominating the corners. And it's good to see so far this year he has been learning from Reggie Wayne, and it looks like he has really rebounded from where his season started. Next one is Paris Campbell. I kept trying to tell y'all, get this guy involved in the offense and watch things open up. And he had 5 catches yesterday for 57 yards and a touchdown. Paris Campbell was on it yesterday. He's been on it all season. The only issue we've had with it is not getting him involved in the offense as much. We saw him get involved last week in the offense, getting first downs in pivotal situations. And we saw that against the Chiefs. We saw that against the Titans. We saw that this week, him getting big key first downs for Indianapolis. I think that 2 or 3 of his 5 catches came for either first downs or a touchdown. So huge catches for Paris Campbell to make drives count. And that's what you need from Paris Campbell. And that's where I'm hoping they continue to utilize him. I'm hoping at some point Frank Reich runs a freaking jet sweep with Paris Campbell at one point or another. But we'll get to that at some point. I certainly hope so, because Paris Campbell needs to have a jet sweep called for him at some point this year. What's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about our sponsor, BetStamp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Derek, another betting app? What is so different about this one now? Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm not into online gambling a whole lot and bets online and everything, but I got to tell you, BetStamp is one of the coolest things I have ever seen in regards to betting online. The great thing about BetStamp is it allows you to see all the different odds from all different sports books and see which one provides you the best odds possible for any game or scenario you want to bet on for your pick versus some of the worst. BetStamp allows you to also buy and sell picks that you have without worrying about losing your money or having any issues with it. Believe me, it's all free. I mean, look at this, guys. You have an option for every game across all different kinds of leagues in a ton of different ways. You have baseball, you have college football, UFC, NBA, and NFL. Great for the NFL season now being here. And if I wanted to bet on this Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills game, it shows me in real time what are the best odds, which sports book I'm going to get the best offer from versus some of the worst ones. Because why would you want to earn less money from PointsBet when you could be winning more from ProLine Plus? Again, a great thing that BetStamp offers you, allowing you to make more money for the same pick just with a different sports book. How easy is that? And the great thing is there's not just games. There's player props. There's game props. There's lines. There's live tracking. There's a ton of great ways to make bets and picks on BetStamp, guys. Totally a cool thing to use. I highly encourage you to check it out if you're into any kind of online betting. Even if you're not, give it a check. See what you like about it, because I think I actually enjoy using it. But the best way to get an edge on online sports betting is having multiple accounts at different sports books. Be sure to hit the BetLink page, betstamp.app/onboarding. Be sure to check out the BetStamp app or online, and be sure to use the referral code JUICE, plug in your state, and you'll get access to all their affiliates and their prices once you open it up, seeing all states' lines. Be sure to check this out, guys. You won't want to miss it for the best odds on your next sports bet. The offensive line, the stock up, you have to admit that. Whatever the 5 combination was for Pryor at right guard and Smith at right tackle and Dennis Kelly at left tackle, that needs to be the combination going forward. Absolutely. Obviously, it wasn't spectacular, but it was a huge, huge step forward. You can take 60 dropbacks, almost 60 dropbacks, and not get sacked once. Very, very impressive. I mean, that's spectacular. Obviously, there were some mistakes made by a bunch of these guys, but in the end, it didn't hurt us, which is really great to see. A couple other players, Jelani Woods. Again, every time Jelani catches the ball, it feels like it's a big play. First down on his first catch, I believe, and then that touchdown. Regardless if it was a push-off or not, there were contact on both sides. Jelani's just a beast, man. Jelani's just a beast, and he doesn't have to get utilized that much in the game plan for him to make an impact. That's what makes him so spectacular, is that he makes 2 catches a game and you know about him. And Dion Jackson is another one from yesterday. His stock is going way up. First week against the Broncos, had some really great plays. He ran the ball really well. And then this last week had over 100. I think he might have had 120 scrimmage yards yesterday and had a touchdown as well to go with it, and was a great pass catcher out of the backfield for us. I mean, it's spectacular. It's spectacular to see what Dion did. I am extremely confident in knowing Dion Jackson can take over for us in the unfair event that Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor don't play in a game again. I am extremely confident in Dion Jackson's ability. He runs hard. He's a guy that knows that his opportunities are not going to be there every week. So he knows that he has to take advantage of these opportunities while he has them. And that is a player that you want. That is a player that understands when his name is called, he needs to make those plays. And he has been making those plays. He's been running angry. He's been making big plays for us. I mean, for as terrible as we were rushing the football yesterday, and at times when the offense looked stale on occasion, Dion really provided an energy boost. And playing in that game late when he was hurting, but still wanted to be out there to make sure he did not lose his chance. I love that about Dion Jackson. One defensive player I will mention for a stock up is Rodney Mcleod. Rodney Mcleod had one bad play early in the game where he missed a tackle, and it ended up costing us big. But then throughout the rest of the game, Rodney Mcleod had a bunch of negative plays turned because of him. He was fantastic yesterday. After one bad mistake early, he did not make a mistake all the rest of the game. He was everywhere. He was making big plays. He was making those plays that was putting the Jaguars in second and longs and third and longs all game. So it was great to see Rodney Mcleod really take off and really do a fantastic job yesterday. Now, one thing I will say, and I know a lot of people are probably going to hate that I'm doing this, but I have to, because I have to recognize the positive. Frank Reich's scheming yesterday and how the Colts ran the team, along with Matt Ryan's probably input on that won us the game. And that was good. That was good scheming yesterday. The Colts said we're not going to run the football that much in this. We're only going to run it so very often. I think the problem that we've seen, and especially playing against the Jaguars, who have one of the best run defenses in the NFL, is we oftentimes would run the ball too much, get ourselves into third and longs, and not be able to work it on first downs, to get on third downs. So we would get in second and longs and third and longs, and then we'd have to throw it, and then you'd be playing from a bad negative position. The Colts ran the ball one time in their first two drives that they moved down the field. And both times they got to the opposite side of the field against Jacksonville. They did not run the ball very much. They ran the ball, I think, a grand total of 15 times yesterday. Now, obviously, in the end of it all, you do not want Matt Ryan throwing the football 60 times a game from here on out. But, of course, when you had Jonathan Taylor out again and you had Nyheim Hines out again, the Colts wanted to make sure that they could take advantage of being able to throw the football more efficiently. And it worked. Matt Ryan got rid of the ball the quickest he has all season, 2.4 seconds per throw attempt. That was the quickest he had gotten it out all season long. And it really helped the offensive line to not be able to give up as many sacks because Matt Ryan wasn't holding on to the ball as frequently. But that also goes down to scheming. The Colts were throwing the ball a lot more often. They were throwing a lot more short stuff, dissecting the defense, and Matt Ryan was able to do that. And the great part was about throwing it on those first downs or those second downs is the Colts were, even in third down situations, were in a lot more 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s instead of 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s, where you would have ran it for first down and second down and making things work that way. I felt that the Colts offensive playbook opened up a lot more yesterday. You got everyone involved. Michael Pittman was huge. You got Alec Pierce involved late in the game. You got Paris Campbell involved everywhere on the field. You got Jelani Woods involved. You got Kylan Granson involved. That's the kind of stuff that I wanted to see. Is they changed their dynamic of how they ran their offense, whether it be because they were missing Jonathan Taylor and Hines and realized that they can't run it the same way, or that they know they can't run it the same way because they got a new offensive line and that the defense for Jacksonville will make you pay if you don't get the ball out quickly. It feels like Reich actually learned from his mistakes on the first meeting. They got sacked 5 times, okay, in the first meeting against this team. They could not move the ball at all with the offensive scheme that they had before. And it was a completely different scheme and how they attacked the Jacksonville defense in this game, and it worked. It worked very well. When you gave Matt Ryan a chance to get rid of the ball quickly, go into no huddle, and provide just a little bit more protection, you gave Matt Ryan a chance to succeed and thrive. And that's what he did. And that's what the whole offense did with, it really wasn't a no huddle, but it wasn't a hurry up. So it was very quick. It was quicker. It wasn't allowing Jacksonville to settle in, figure out what they wanted to do. You were finishing a play, and then in 15, 20 seconds, you were ready to go, and next play going. So I loved what I saw from the offensive scheming. There was only probably 1 or 2 times that I was like, man, why are we running this? I think it had something to do with the down screens to the running backs yesterday. That was one of Matt Ryan's favorite targets. Dion Jackson had the second most catches of any player on the offense yesterday. He had 10 catches, and almost all of those being just throwing a check down to the running back and just let Dion do his thing. I think there were a couple times that probably shouldn't have happened, and that's on, Matt Ryan and a couple other things. But again, I felt like in the end, it came out very good for us to be able to have that option. And it makes me happy to know that stuff might be available next for Hines and for JT. Like that sort of stuff should be open for Jonathan Taylor and Hines. That's the kind of offense that I want to see, is Matt Ryan taking advantage of that situation. Because if Dion Jackson can do it, Hines and Jonathan Taylor can also do it. I think that it was a great scheme fit for them to have that simple out route, and it was working for the majority of the time. So I liked what I saw there. Obviously, Matt Ryan hitting guys all over the field in that game. There wasn't any specific area that they were better at than others. Obviously, running the football, you're going to have to get better at that. But we're simply focusing on the fact that the Colts offensive line did not give up a sack in that game, and that was huge. So that's the stock up and stock down, guys. I'd like for you, and also, by the way, listen, I'm not throwing away the fact that Frank Reich has still gotten us in a situation where we started off slow. I'm not getting rid of that. But I do have to give credit where credit is due. Matt Ryan and Frank Reich have changed the scheme this week, and it worked to tackle against the defense of Jacksonville. So I have to give credit on that. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts if there's some stock up, stock downs that I didn't mention that you think I should have. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. And as always, guys, go Colts.